Hey, welcome to today's episode of the Nothing Else Mattress Show. Today's guest is Mark Hisle from Mark's Mattress Outlet. Mark has been a dear friend for over 20 years and has a highly successful business and has a reputation in the industry because he shuts down his mattress stores part of the year. They become fireworks stores. And he's got the scoop on that and how that works and why he does it the way he does and what's contributed to his success. Mark, I can't wait to hear everything you have to tell us. Thanks again for being on the show. Starts now. When we started out, it was just about providing for our families while being in the driver's seat of our careers. I started in the mattress industry in 1999, and when I left the corporate world and Joe and I opened the Big Mattress Outlet in 2012, we could never have dreamed how rewarding business ownership would be for us.
My only regret is that we didn't do this sooner. I was terrified to make that jump, to leave the comfort of the corporate environment. As the old saying goes, I can promise you, the parachute's never gonna open if you first don't jump.
We've built a proven business model that's unique in the industry. It's profitable year after year, even through fluctuating markets and economies. We want to work with like-minded entrepreneurs who, like us, don't mind a little hard work, but want to own something that goes beyond just providing for our families financially. It offers exponential growth and profit opportunity, not to mention just a great culture and a really fun industry.
If you think you might be a fit, we'd love to talk to you.
Everybody, thank you for joining us again on Nothing Else Mattress. Today's guest, I'm so excited, Mark Hisle from Mark's Mattress Outlet. Mark, I had been pestering for months to be on the show because Mark is a very dear friend and has a long history in this bedding industry. But Mark has a success story that goes way back to, both of our early days in the mattress business. So I'm just excited to have you here. Welcome, Mark, and thank you for finally saying yes.
Well, it is my pleasure. So I will be glad to answer any questions and tell you whatever stories you want to hear.
Yeah, all the stories. I think Mark doesn't give himself enough credit for having a story that's really compelling and that everybody likes to hear. It's inspirational, honestly. So I don't think that you have fear. I think that part of your brain that has fear, I don't think that's activated in you because you have an idea and you just do it.
I'll tell you, as I get older, that fear has been more and more, believe it
Really?
or not. Yes, the things that I worry about now are things that, looking back when I first started this, I did way riskier things, and not once did I lose an ounce of sleep over. I just did it. But now every move seems a little more calculated. So I've got to get over that a little bit. I've got to get over that a little bit. But yeah, seriously, that's one of the things here lately that I've noticed is I'm fretting over decisions that I normally wouldn't even give it a second thought. Make a decision, move on. If I made a good decision, great. If I didn't, oh well, move on. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've got to probably work on a little bit better, in my older age as I get going.
Maybe you've grown up. Maybe you've grown up. Yeah, we were discussing age before the call and our physical ailments and lack of training on the technological side of things. But I want to circle back to that shift because I want to get to that in a minute. But I really want our fans, our listeners, to hear a little bit about your origin story because I remember being really impressed with kind of what you were doing in the first place as a little bit of an entrepreneur, but then how that shifted into mattresses.
Yeah, I definitely think, if you have a mattress store, you're in the mattress, but if you're an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you're a mattress expert or any of that. You're an entrepreneur. It's just a different breed. And we just think different, the entrepreneur in us, we just think different. But no, we were really a fireworks company, quite frankly. As crazy as it sounds, got started in fireworks. And that's how it all started. The state of Indiana back in 2004, 3, 4, or 5, somewhere around there, changed their law. So prior to this, I was doing seasonal fireworks stores. So I'd go out and rent a building for 4 weeks, put fireworks in it, and roll the dice. I remember the first year we were in a location, didn't work out, so we had to go to another location. We put the product on a credit card and rented a U-Haul and, try to make it work. Me and my wife were out there. It was July the 3rd in the morning, and we were getting our butt kicked. We're like, oh my God, this was a terrible idea. And so about noon, I sent the extra people we had there. We just sent them home. It's like, yeah, well, I guess I got it from here. Well, little did I know, in the fireworks business, pretty much it's the last 24 hours, the evening of the 3rd and the 4th is where you make all your money. And we got just blasted. My wife was out on the median in a Elvis costume. We still joke about that, but we were trying to do everything to get people in there. And then the evening of the 3rd, it started pouring in, and it continued throughout the 4th. And we're like, whew, okay, we figured this out, we think. So the next year we did, that was our first year. We did 1 store. The next year we did 6. And I paid too much for the product. I paid too much for the spaces. I paid help too much. I did everything wrong and barely broke even. So then the 3rd year, we finally figured it out and kind of got it going. And then it was about the 4th year, I got on a plane, went to China, and said, hey, we got to make this stuff ourselves. We got to buy it right and do it right. And that's kind of where we developed the Really Good Stuff brand, RGS, because everybody come in, you got the good stuff. Well, the good stuff was taken, actually. The good stuff was taken from a legal standpoint. So we filed for the really good stuff. So that's why we're the RGS brand, and that's kind of how we got started. We went to China. I got on a plane, went over there, didn't know what I was doing, made mistakes there. First year, the stuff we bought was not very good. Wow. Kind of got burnt there. And but made some good relationships over there, and we still have them. I still work with some of the same people I did the very first trip I went over there. They've been to my house many times, and so that's kind of how it started. And then in 2005, I think, was when Indiana changed their law. If you have a fireworks store, you can keep it. If you don't have a fireworks store, you can only have 500 pounds. So we had some pretty good locations. What are we going to put in them? So that's when tools came into play.
Yep.
Did you know about did I tell you about the toolbox and more?
The story, I don't think I recognized it when you said tools, but a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a
tools,
great story.
Of course.
You got to tell
it. Of course. Tools. Why not tools? So I knew nothing about tools, hadn't used tools practically. So, but it was the toolbox and more in our first location. We signed a long-term lease. We're going to sell tools, and I didn't know anything about what I was doing, and it showed. And it evolved. Well, just to give you an idea, it evolved into a closeout store. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where we were just finding closeouts. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. The tool line. Yeah. But I didn't know what a sandblaster was. I didn't know what half this stuff was that I had in here. And so, I went to the ASD show out in Vegas. ASD, everybody should go to that. It's pretty cool.
Tell everybody real quick what the ASD show is, because
it's all surplus merchandise. It's all surplus merchandise. And look it up. It's just surplus merchandise. I believe it used to be a lot bigger than it even is now, but it's huge, and just opens your eyes up to whatever business you're in. Go there, check it out, and see what you come up with. But I found candles. That was one of our biggest sellers, was candles. We found the Martha Stewart candles, the factory seconds. Mm-hmm. Had a little air bubble in it or something. It wasn't mixed quite right. So, if Walmart was selling it for $10, I was selling them 3 for $10, that sort of stuff. A lot of the as seen on TV shelf pulls, where they pull it off shelves once it's kind of ran its life. We buy all those for very little. And so that's the type of business that really got me excited. Well, that lasted about 18 months when I realized this is not sustainable. The tool store, the toolbox, all that stuff, it's not sustainable. Our number one seller was the candles and daggum porcelain dolls, Charles. Porcelain dolls. Are you kidding me? Porcelain dolls. But we found a deal, and who'd have thunk people buy porcelain dolls? Well, they did. And so we had a big porcelain doll section in our tool store. That's why it was called Toolbox and More.
More. Toolbox, porcelain dolls, candles.
Yes.
It's the really good stuff. Whatever it is the
there
really
you
good
go.
stuff.
There you go. That's exactly right. So it was crazy. And then we ran across, it just wasn't going to be sustainable for what my goals were. I didn't want to live the business, and I would have had to live that business. So that's where our idea of bringing mattresses in, and through the closeout mentality. And that's eventually how it evolved in, to meeting you when you were at Simmons, but, buying the closeouts, overstocks, and applying that to the mattress side. Mm-hmm. And the first big lesson I learned is whoever has the best story in retail wins. And That's so true. If you got the best story, you win. So when we put our going out of business sign up that afternoon, from 2 o'clock till 8 o'clock, we did more business than we did like the previous month. It was nuts. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's why these GOB sales work.
Yep.
Okay, I get it now. Okay, so that was the first one. The second big thing that really motivated us is once we got everything sold out and we got our mattress business moved in, which was a lot of the name brands and the closeouts and factory seconds and things of that nature. I got served by a sheriff like within weeks. And now keep in mind, we had Mark's fireworks outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was just trying to pay the rent at this point. I'm like, oh, we screwed up. The tools ain't going to work. Let's try mattresses. What are we going to call it? I don't care. Just
My name is Mark.
Mark's mattress outlet. Let's do that. Okay.
Like a good name.
Let's keep it simple. And that's all the thought we put into it, and got served by a sheriff. We were served with a federal lawsuit for the term mattress outlet. We were using the term mattress outlet, and some bigwig on the other side of town, okay, the complete other side of town, thought he would, I guess, intimidate us into not opening the store or not getting in the mattress business but that gave me a lot of encouragement. I was like, wow, if that guy is paying attention to me all the way over here, it sounds like we need another store over there. So that's what we did. This is my
favorite part of the story.
Yeah. So we opened our second store. That's, probably a half a mile away, but it's on the other side of town. So we got the east and the west side of town, and we went over to the east side of town.
But
so
to be clear, how long was it after you had mattresses in the first store and it was Mark's Mattress Outlet before you opened that second one?
I would say it would be within 6 months. I'd have to look for sure, but
I just remember that it was a very short amount of time.
Yeah, it was within 6 months or so, I would say, because we got in there on the west side of town and we're doing all right. And that was a fireworks store. Keep in mind, we had a long-term lease. So then we went on the other side of town just to find a mattress store, and we were going to do fireworks there as well. So we actually did fireworks in that location first, even on the other side of town, and did okay. But then when we put mattresses in there, it's like, oh, okay, this is probably a little better spot for us. And I remember actually literally selling out of we had 3 firm mattresses left in the store on a Saturday, so that speaks a lot of how ill-equipped we were to open the store to begin with. But I remember being out of mattresses. I remember
all
paying
the problems you could have.
Exactly. Exactly. And the 3 we had left were firm mattresses. And that was before we even knew how to sell a mattress. We just thought, hey man, it's $2,000 over there. We're selling it for $1,000. It's a no-brainer. If you don't buy this, you're stupid. That was kind of our attitude. And it doesn't work that way. We learned that too.
People don't like being called stupid.
No, it does. That's not the best way to go. No.
Note to self in their next training: don't call customers stupid.
Yeah, don't say it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You're basically stupid if you don't buy this. But we literally didn't have a clue from that standpoint. We had headboards. We bought some closeout headboards, not knowing what we had. We were basically giving them away because us guys that were running it at the time was like, I wouldn't pay more than $100 for that. No way. What is this? We just didn't know what we were doing. But the core guys that were with me from the beginning, from the fireworks standpoint, they're running the show now. And that's been the key.
You have known these guys since college, right?
Yeah, they were in college. Well, one, they were in college. One was 17, one was 18. Chris was in college at 18. Randy was working for me when he was 17, and they were doing strictly fireworks. Mm-hmm. So then they have evolved to where that was back in 2002 or something, and then everything has just kind of evolved from there, and learned a lot of lessons on the way.
Of course.
Definitely. Paid some stupid tax, for sure.
That's my favorite term that you coined. I don't know that you coined it, but you've used
that's not my coin. I got that from Dave Ramsey. Listen, I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan.
Oh, that's right. You are. Yeah, and you've got a Dave Ramsey endorsement. You've got all that for your store.
Yes, very cool. I started listening to Dave. Man, he was on a small station in Princeton, Indiana, and at the time I was a yearbook sales rep for Herff Jones. So I would go around to all the high schools and, hey, you guys buy yearbooks? I sell yearbooks. How about you buy your yearbook from me?
Yep.
Basically, I would go in there and assist them on producing the yearbook, helping them with putting their yearbooks together, and then they printed at the Herff Jones printing facility down in Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Yep, that's where my printing facility was. So learned a lot about sales, but and entrepreneurial too, because you're an independent contractor doing that. It's you eat what you kill. So that was a good start, and then that led into the fireworks because I had summers available, and then the fireworks eventually led into the mattresses, which that eventually led into me meeting you at Simmons.
So I'm gonna pause the story for a second, because you have a reputation in the industry for having these stores that are combo fireworks / mattress stores. So tell everybody about that, because you've got stores that you actually just shut down for part of the year in mattress.
Yeah,
you put down the mattress portion of the business.
Yeah, that's probably just a terrible idea. It'd be way easier just to, put mattresses in and forget it, put fireworks in and forget it. But we really are a fireworks company, and people don't buy fireworks 12 months out of the year in Indiana. So it just doesn't work that way for us. So we want to do something we have to do something, to pay the rent for 11 months out of the year. And that was the original plan. But then we actually got pretty good at the mattress thing.
Y'all are extremely good at the mattress thing.
The big game changer from the fireworks standpoint was us developing our RGS brand of fireworks and developing our brand. So when we advertise fireworks, we typically don't advertise, hey, fireworks, we got fireworks, everybody. Yeah, no, we advertise our specific fireworks, our Black Widow artillery shell. That put us on the map big time. But even prior to that, the really good stuff is, you got to come to March to get the really good stuff. So we advertise a specific brand. And then I've just taken that same philosophy over to mattresses, to where we have our Sleep Natural brand. And Chris has really done a phenomenal job. I've kind of turned all of the manufacturing over to Chris, as far as he meets with the manufacturers and the factories that we work with, which is just a handful. We have a lot of loyalty. It's not blind loyalty. We've made that mistake to where sometimes you're just overly loyal and, you're blind to what else is out there. But yeah, we've got some very, very good partners from a manufacturing standpoint. And it also has a lot to do with their mentality and understanding that they're manufacturing something to our specs. We handle all of the warranties. We handle all of that. I mean, once they send it out the door, they're not going to see it back unless it truly is a manufacturing defect, which, as you know, that's very rare.
Right.
So that's one of the things they appreciate. The other thing they appreciate is we pay our bills. We don't borrow money. We don't ask for credit. You ship it, we'll pay it.
Yeah.
So that's really been the game changer for us. So on the fireworks side, it's our RGS brand, and on the mattress side, it's our Sleep Natural brand. That's been a big portion of it. We built the business with the closeouts, and we still get some phenomenal, crazy deals that we take advantage of with the relationships that we've had for the many years. But for the most part, it's a combination of the two. It's our Sleep Natural, and then when we find the right deal, we mix those in. And then we also have our Sleep Natural closeout wholesale side, that we offer to other retailers.
And what you learned over the years, and you could write a book on this, is that you make your money when you buy.
Yeah.
So like you talk about the closeout deals, because for those who aren't familiar with closeouts in the mattress industry, manufacturers end up with a massive amount of product that is not first run goods. And that could be just overstock. It could be a purely canceled order from a retail side, and now this product's been made and it's unsold. It's still in pristine condition. Or maybe a manufacturer drops a line, and so there's some inventory left that needs to be closed out. Or maybe on the other end of things, it's something that's been returned, that's been in a customer's home for a short while. So there's a place for all of that in the marketplace, and Mark has curated sort of a line and relationships with vendors to get that top tier. The brand new in bag, never been in a customer's home. I mean, the new overstock stuff that's still factory sealed, but only because of these relationships you've had over the years are you able to be on that very short list of people they call. Like not anybody can call up and get that stuff.
No, and we learned that the hard way too. Paid many a stupid tax for stuff along those lines. But yeah, even we had a major manufacturer. They switched software Okay, they switched over their software. They had like 10 semi because they ended up making an order 3 times, like a major order. So they had
Oh,
like
wow.
10 trailer loads of high end product, but they had 3 times what they needed because they had some software glitch. And it was crazy. That was several years ago, but that was one that comes to mind. That's like, hey, I don't ask questions. It's, I wire the money, they send the product, and it's awesome. And then, but yeah, that's where we're excited. That's the exciting part, where we can offer such ridiculous values to our customers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always fight the battle constantly of everybody say, oh, they're used beds, they're this, they're that. It's like, nah, but
No,
if
not in
I
your
was in
store.
their shoes, if I was in their shoes,
Sure, it's a valid question.
if I was in my competitor's shoes and they're selling this name brand mattress for $2,500 and I got the same thing and I'm selling it for $1,200, what are you going to tell your customer? Oh yeah, that's a used mattress over there, that's used,
Of course.
so
And
it's
don't you
like,
find that a lot of times it's not even malicious? A lot of times they truly just don't know what you
well,
do. I
a
mean, it may
lot
be
of
malicious
times,
sometimes, but a lot of times they just don't understand the side of the business. They just assume if you're an outlet that this is what you're carrying, and it's not necessarily.
well, but if you're also that manufacturer's rep, okay, that goes over there and they have to listen to that store owner saying, hey, how is Mark selling the same thing for less than I'm buying it for? Oh, that's used. I mean, so that a lot of times that
True.
comes from the manufacturer's rep.
True.
And that's where we want to buy product out the back door. Okay, the manufacturer's reps, they buy the product through the front door, and that's how the manufacturers make their money.
Yeah,
The
sure. That's
back
how the
door,
industry exists, is that.
exactly, the back door are their oopsies, or they need cash flow or whatever. I'd prefer to buy out of their back door versus their front door. And so that's kind of how it is. But yeah, it's been quite a journey, and it's constantly a journey. And I'd say the biggest thing is evolving. You have to evolve, and we're constantly evolving everything we do. That's
Yeah,
the
I,
big
I
thing.
couldn't have said it better there. And on the subject of evolving, I want to talk a little bit about your Sleep Natural brand, because you've had that around for a long time. And
Yep.
tell the story of how that's evolved to become a
Wow.
top seller for you.
Well, Sleep Naturals, it started with us importing our own foam beds from China, because I already had a staff in China for our fireworks business. I'm like, hey, let's go to the mattress factory over there. So we went and met with a couple of different mattress factories, and we were importing our foam beds, and it was just a few beds at the time. But now we don't import any mattresses at all. All of our mattresses are made here in the Midwest, Tennessee, Georgia. So all of our mattresses are made there, and Chris has done an amazing job on speccing them out and holding the manufacturers to kind of feet to the fire a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's not so much that, it's finding the right ones that have the right mentality, that are understanding where you're wanting to go with it, and they understand what their role is, because their role with us is different than their role just with a licensed brand name. So that's really been the key, is Chris and him getting to these factories and specking beds out and getting us the best story. As we know, the best story wins. So
Yep.
we need stories that are truthful. Truthful stories win even better.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to focus on, are those truthful stories about the features and benefits of each of the mattresses that we bring in to our store, because each one has to fit a spot, a comfort, a price point. It's got to fit that spot. So that's been huge for us.
You talk a lot about Chris, and I know Chris, but I admire him so much because he has such a good head on his shoulders, and y'all partner together very well. But how much of your success would you attribute to having surrounded yourself by the right people that you could delegate the right things to, that could
If I
get
didn't
you where
have
you
the
are
right
now?
people, yeah, no, if I didn't have the right people, we'd probably still have about 2 or 3 stores. We
And how
just
many
have two
stores
or
do you
three
have?
stores. We have 15 mattress stores. And of that, we kind of touched on it. Of that, I think it's 11, 9 to 11, I think, switch over to fireworks. And in each case, it's a real positive change. But and on that topic, one thing I can promise you is nobody wants to go into a mattress store and buy fireworks, and nobody wants to go in a fireworks store and buy a mattress. So when we switch it out, it's switched out. I mean, there's not a mattress, there's nothing. You walk in our store, it's a fireworks store. And then come mattress time, you walk in our store, it's a mattress store.
What a unique
You know,
concept.
so yeah, we make it work, but it is a lot of work, and we don't know any different. So
It's your model. It's what you've built,
yeah,
and it's what
yeah.
y'all do, and everybody's used to
Randy,
it.
Randy is the guy that's been with me from the get go as well, and he's up to this point been more focused on the fireworks and developing the fireworks line, and the duration, the effects, the quality, all of that stuff. That's Randy, and then Chris is doing the same thing on the mattress side with our Sleep Natural line. So those two guys really work well together. And now Randy's doing our sales training for our mattress stores, and that's kind of how we have things set up, with that.
So
So
one of the things you and I have talked about separately is how exciting it is that at our age, we've got kids that are old enough they can be part of the business. Folks have seen on LinkedIn and Facebook, and my son's been, part of a lot of our videos, but having him join us in the family business has been rewarding. And you've got 3 kids and dogs. And so we have all that in common, but you've got your daughter Kenna now helping you. And a lot of times when I communicate with Mark's Mattress Outlet, it's Kenna that I get these days. And Kenna's taken on a really large role, right, in your organization. How
yeah,
cool is
we
that?
try to. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. She graduated last December. Last December she graduated, so she's been playing a big role actually. We try to keep it real simple. She's in charge of getting more people in the mattress door, getting more
And it's
door
her job
swings.
description. Get more
Yeah,
people in.
get more people in the door. And like Randy's job is to, hey, get a better closing percentage with our sales team. The people that do come through the door, let's make sure they buy a mattress. So that's your job. And then Chris, make sure they've got awesome values in the store to sell. So
There you go.
that's kind of how we have it kind of boiled down to. We
I
try
like
to keep
that.
it. We try to keep it real simple.
Keep it
But
simple.
yeah, no, Kenna has been doing. She started off, and this was the ultimate goal was for her to be in the position she's in now. But I didn't want her to just come in and start with the digital marketing side of things. I wanted her to start doing pretty much everything. So she's done payables, she's done HR, she's fought the unemployment claim, here and there. So she's had to do all of that. So that's pretty cool, having her involved in that. And
Yeah.
we're now at the point where now she's strictly able to, almost strictly, I should say, focus on the digital marketing and getting more people in the doors for us.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that would like to pick her brain because I know she's really good at what she does for you. Because in a down market, you guys are plugging right along, and so she's definitely doing something right.
We're trying. We're evolving all the time, and we're
Evolving.
learning.
Yes.
We're evolving. It's a journey. It's constant, and that's probably the biggest thing. And then Kobe, my youngest, he's going away to IU this here Sunday. So he was handling our warehouse for the last 3 years.
That's right. He's been working for you too.
Yeah, for the last 3 years, especially in the summer come fireworks time. So it was always kind of interesting to see a 17, 18-year-old out there bossing grown men around, or not really bossing them around, but the grown men asking the 17-year-old, hey,
Right.
what do we do here? What do we do in this situation? How do we handle this? That's
Because he's been around it his whole life,
Oh,
He
yeah,
might be 17, 18 years
absolutely.
old, but he's
Oh,
had
absolutely.
all those years of experience.
Yeah, I've got a newspaper article on the wall right there that has them when they're, 6 years old, 5 years old, and talking about our business and all. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
But
That's
no,
cute.
it's truly a family oriented business. And Chris and Randy both. See, I used to bring my kids into their stores because they all ran a store.
Mhm.
For years. They ran a mattress store, and then they'd switch it over. They'd do the fireworks store. So they've done everything. But I'd bring my kids into their mattress stores they were running. And of course, you know how that ends when they're young kids. They're running and jumping on the
Oh,
beds.
yeah.
And then we'd leave and they had to fix all the tags. So now what's crazy is they're both taking their kids into these stores, and their kids are the ones ruining the match,
They're cleaning up after their own kids.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty funny. So
One thing
we
I've
had a lot
always
of fun with
admired
that.
about you is that even in an executive role at a highly successful company, I say executive role, the owner. I mean, it doesn't get more executive than that. And it's not about titles, but the fact that your plate is so full. You've had a very successful big business, honestly. I mean, with small business, but in my eyes, it's, you've got a lot of stores, you got a lot of responsibility. but you've always made family a priority. You've always been a family man. You've always, from the outside looking in, you've been there for your kids. You've taken the time. How? Because that's the struggle. I mean, all of us with entrepreneurs, we want to sit in the office in the evening and finish that one more task, get that one more sale, make that one more call. But how have you balanced that?
Delegation. You have to not be a control freak. If you want to be a control freak, then you can't. You got to give up something. But no, delegation. I let them run the business. Chris and Randy run the business, and now with Kenna's involvement, they run the business. They'll run certain decisions by me. If we're going to spend 50 grand on a few loads of closeouts, I'd like to know. Keep me in the loop. But that's kind of the attitude. Just kind of let me know and make sure it makes sense. And I'll ask questions and make sure they have the right answers. But I also let them make mistakes too. I mean, not $50,000 mistakes ideally, but I do let them make some decisions. It's like, I think they're gonna have to learn that one the hard way. And sometimes we do. That's few and far between. But I there's a few in the past that we've just ran with. So, but yeah, delegation. You can't be a control freak. You've got to delegate and get the right people in the right place. That's probably the biggest thing. You can't be a control freak and have all the time in the world. You can't do it. So
it's so cool though that you were there with the family during the ages when there was so much to do with the kids as they're growing up. The fishing trips and the vacations and the thing. And you weren't apart from work. You were still involved there, but you made sure you were there as a dad. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners envy, because finding that balance is really hard.
Yep. I coached all the youth basketball, all the, year round I was coaching it. And then even later in their, as they got older, doing some of the summer basketball, that was challenging because that's fireworks time. I've never golfed. I've never golfed because they're in fireworks time, but then, that was a challenge. But once again, it's having great people around you. And that's what I've got with Randy and Chris, just a good core group right there. And then it branches off from them. They've got their core guys that are their right-hand men or women. And that's what it's about right there.
Yeah. I love just the culture of your organization's something to be admired for sure. Is Kenna around there? And we'd love to meet her if she's there.
I will find out if she will come in. Yeah.
There before we started recording, I heard her there in the background. I'm like, I'm going to get you on.
Yeah. So I'll see if we can. She may or may not. I'm not sure on that.
We can hope.
But no, you would call me many a time talking about a mattress, and I'd have to get Chris on the phone. It's like, I'm not sure. Let's find out with Chris.
Yeah, and a lot of times I just call Chris first, but
yeah, exactly.
You're and our friendship goes back so far that it's been over 20 years that we've known one another on some level.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was our Simmons. I met you with Simmons, and I remember giving you a hard time about working at Simmons after a while, after getting to know you and saying you just need to do your own thing.
So you did, and I want to give you full credit for that. And I want to. There's an MP3, I guess, that pops up on my phone when I'm just doing a random playlist of everything that's in my phone. And it's that not Dave Ramsey. It's the ad from when I was doing the couponing and came up and did a coupon class at one of your stores.
Yes,
and you did like a radio commercial. And so I still have that commercial, and it's just on my phone. And I forget about it, and because I get like 3,000 songs on my phone or whatever, but now and then it'll make the rotation in the playlist. You remember that?
That's right. I do. That is right. Yes.
Anybody who's listening to some of the origin of the podcast where I've told my story goes back to coupon days when I was at Simmons and doing classes. And Mark featured an event at his store to attract some traffic from the locals, and we went into his store and did a whole coupon class.
Yep, the coupon queen herself. Absolutely.
No charge for the attendees. That was funny. Oh, no, just circling back to what you said about when I was at Simmons there toward the end, you were one of the main voices that was saying, why don't you get out and do your own thing? Get out and do your own thing. you were one of my biggest sources of encouragement there, and your story. And that's one reason why I wanted to have you on so bad, because you're just, when I say risk taking, I don't, mean it in a bad way, but as an entrepreneur, that's a lot of what you do is taking a risk,
Right.
because it is uncertain. You are giving up a sure salary and what it, is perceived as a certain future, kind of for the unknown. And you
Yeah.
make your own way, you figure it out.
Yeah. It was several years before I took any money out of the mattress business, because I started the mattress side when I was still doing repping as a yearbook rep. So I still had
Really?
that job while we had a couple mattress stores going, but we had good people running the stores, so I didn't have to be in there. But it was many moons before I took any money out of the mattress side, let alone a salary of any kind. So yeah, that was it. But the Dave Ramsey thing, that was a big deal to us,
It's a really big deal.
learning and realizing, oh, you don't always have to have a car payment and a house payment and all this stuff. I just thought it was normal, didn't know any different until I ran across him on the radio back in, I think, 99, 2000,
Long
early
time
on.
ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I think around 2001 was my last car payment ever. Didn't look back, no more car payments.
But you use that, what you learned from Dave Ramsey in your business too. You operate your business much
100%.
on the same concept.
100%. And fortunately, we do. I mean, I've grown at a turtle's pace. Luckily, I didn't run out and overextend myself. I remember 2012 vividly. That was the year we had 50 fireworks locations, and that was the year that we had a drought. And you could sell fireworks, but you can't light them off. So you could imagine what that did to the sales of fireworks. Okay. It's like you can buy a mattress, but you can't lay on the mattress, so that would affect your sales, that definitely would affect your sales. So, whoops. So anyway, so yeah, that was, fortunately, I was going by that same thing. We didn't have to, it didn't destroy us, so to speak. It set us back a couple years, but it didn't put us out of business. We were able to handle it. We didn't have to file bankruptcy. It weeded out a lot of the weaker competitors, quite frankly. But yeah, so, and I've made some really bad decisions too on leases. I've learned that. We had a stretch there where we signed a few 5-year leases that, we thought, oh, these are high rent district. We won't have to spend as much on advertising because people will just pour in the doors. And it doesn't always work that way. So by no means has it all been smooth sailing. We've made some bad decisions, but we've been strong enough financially to easily, navigate them. So that's been a big deal.
Yeah, it's one of the things I admire most about your organization is how you've managed it that way without debt, and not to get in your personal business, but I just know you're a Dave Ramsey fan, and so that's you've preached for years that's a philosophy in your personal and in your business life is to operate, without debt.
Yep, the banks love you when it's sunny out, and they're going to give you as many umbrellas as you want. But once it starts raining, they're gonna need that umbrella back, And I just but nothing against the banks, but yeah, we don't utilize them for anything at this point and going forward, and hopefully we don't ever have to. So
much to admire. Yeah, you had. I'm going to be vulnerable for a second because I talked about it in one other episode that one of the things that I wanted so bad was to start a clothing store. I wanted that for many, many years because my background right out of high school was working in the mall in a clothing store. And I just loved my little store manager job at the clothing store. I thought it was the coolest thing. So, but then I got recruited by Simmons. I'd worked there a number of years. I'm going to leave. And so in my mind, my big, hairy, audacious goal was I'm going to open a clothing store. And I was really hitting roadblocks everywhere I went. And you were a voice in my ear constantly. Charles, do what you know. Why would you do anything else? Do what you know. By the way, guys, Mark is the only person on the planet that calls me Charles. I love it. It's just always been that way. So if y'all wonder, he actually does know that my name is Kelly Charles. He's just always called me Charles.
That's funny. Yeah.
But Mark was the one that was like, why on earth? You're stupid. Why would you do that? But I listened. I really did. And no regrets.
Well, I'm pretty harsh. Sometimes you ask me for an opinion and I'm pretty harsh with how I say it. I don't sugarcoat it at all. So I'm surprised you even call me still and that I haven't offended you so much. So it's like, screw this guy. But no, Yeah, that was I remember that. Yeah, I was like, man, you got the mattress thing down pretty good.
Why
So
wouldn't you just do that?
yeah,
Do what
I
you're good at.
do. Yeah, because yeah, I took a lot of your advice on the mattress side, and as we learned, and you know, you were the go-to, our one of our top suppliers for mattresses for years,
Oh yeah,
and
you were a favorite
yeah,
customer as well because we once we worked together for a number of years, I could predict what you could and couldn't use and what would help you
yep,
out. So we had it's kind of a
yep.
seamless relationship. Just send stuff your way.
Yep. Yep. So that's been a big deal for us too, is that relationship with them. So
You're always forward thinking, and I think when you said early on in our conversation here that the number one thing you have to evolve. Yeah, you
constant.
can't be
Yep.
status quo because the world's going to change. Our clients are going to change. Our towns are going to change. The economy is going to change, and if you aren't changing, evolving,
Exactly. We're not even close the same company we were 10 years ago or 5 years ago
nor
even.
should you be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just constant evolving and developing new products, you know, developing the pillows, developing the adjustable bases and our elevation frames. Chris was one of the first to bring in our version of like the smart frames and all that. But it's our version. It's different. Kind of like with the artillery shells and the fireworks, everybody had this one particular shell. Well, we wanted ours better, different. You know, I didn't want to go into market and just try to sell the same thing cheaper. I wanted to sell something different, and we did, and we sold it for more money. We didn't want to be the cheapest. We actually sold it for more. It was a premium item, and so we're just applying those same philosophies to our mattress business. And the first thing was that our Sleep Natural elevations frame, which we use the thick bar instead
Hmm.
of the grid, you know, the wire grid that tore the mattress, you know, a lot of times. So yeah, just developing those types of things and fine tuning them and tweaking items and making them our own. But it allows you to give a great value to your customer and allows you to have margins that are not normal margins. The mark, we've talked about that
Hmm.
before, where I
Yeah.
hate when people, oh, you're going to get your mark. Oh, really? What's my mark? You know,
Didn't know you
I
had that
don't.
decided for me.
Yeah, exactly. What do you
I
think my
mean, my
mark
name's
is?
Mark, but that doesn't
Yeah,
define the
exactly.
point.
But that's so if you're a sales rep out there, don't tell somebody you're going to get their mark. You know, you're going to get the mark. You know, it's like, ooh, not good.
No, you rewrite the rule book in a lot of ways, and anyone who intimately knows your business can see that you don't fit the mold, but it's
Well,
in a very
I
good way.
appreciate it, but it definitely starts with the team you surround yourself with. That's what it's all about, is who you surrounding yourself with, and I've learned that the hard way too. So after after many moons, you know, you learn some different things, and it's kind of like I tell my kids, now I've seen this movie before. I can tell you how it's going to end if you'd like. If not, I'll shut up. But I can tell you how this is going to end. I've seen this movie multiple times. And so that's, as a parent, we all know that gets frustrating because we've all seen the movies that our kids are living.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter, you know, do they want to hear how it ends or do they just want to watch the rest of it themselves and figure it
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, it's
So
so much
yeah.
easier to learn from somebody else's mistakes. You're always full of advice, and you're always very generous as well. You're an extremely generous person, both with your time, your advice. You're not guarded when things have contributed to your success. You're happy to share that with someone, and um, I've really treasured our friendship over the years. So I appreciate
Well,
you giving us.
likewise, Charles. I appreciate your friendship as well, and you've been the same to us. You know, we often we steal stuff from you all the time. Every time we talk, we try to
It's
steal
all right.
something. Your
Not stealing if it's
curbside
given away
delivery
freely.
ideas, yeah. You know, I mean, no, we get ideas and then we execute them. That's another big pet peeve is having all these grandiose ideas and nobody to execute them.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, it is, and
yes.
so you're the dreamer. You're the one in the organization who always has the big ideas, and that's kind of like I am too. And it's sometimes it's frustrating when you don't have the tools in place to get the traction to implement them. But you're very good at that too. We'll talk about ideas. Next thing I know, 2 weeks later, you're like, all right, we've got it. Here's what we've done. We've done it. We've
Yep.
implemented it, and here's how it's working. Let me give you the
Yep.
data.
Yep,
You're a
that's
do. You're a
and
doer. You're not just a talker.
I'll tell you, Chris and Randy, but you know, especially Chris. Well, we joke. I can't remember the specifics, but we were in his office. We were discussing. We were going to change something up, and we needed a piece of equipment that It's like, yeah, I think we'll do that. And so I leave, I come back the next morning. Hey, okay. So that what we were talking about, he's like, I already bought it. It's right there. It's right there. We've already got it. It's like, oh, okay. All right. And that's a Uline joke. Cause as Chris
Because
says, he
Uline
can
is so fast to ship.
Uline. He said, oh, I can be in the bathroom, taking a dump. And if I'm out of toilet paper, I'll just call Uline. They'll bring it to me. I'll have it right there.
Right?
It's like,
it's already trucks backing up to your dock by the time you hit submit on the order.
Yeah. And then now the biggest red flag is
late for shipping, but the product's going to be there.
Yeah, it's funny, but the biggest red flag I had with that is we now have a Uline rep. I'm like, what? How much are we buying from Uline? What is going on? What's going on here? I'm seeing, what did I see? It was a beach wagon. I'm like, why do we have a beach wagon? Oh,
it was a free gift.
Yeah, it was a free gift.
You didn't pay for that, Mark. It was a free.
I saw a Bears sweatshirt. What is this? Oh, Randy wanted a Bears sweatshirt, and then I see a rep. I'm like, oh, this is starting to make sense. Okay.
You know what? Though, I got to say, and I'm going to keep giving Uline a little bit of love because we're the same way. Like when we need, mattress bags or tape or twine or all these various supplies for the warehouse or whatever, I wait until I've got the order size that's big enough because I want the free Yeti cooler or the free whatever that.
That's what
and I'll add to the order because I'm scoping out the free gift list first before I even hit submit.
Right.
And if I don't need anything, I'm calling the warehouse manager and say, hey, here's a screenshot. What do you want?
Yep. Randy and Chris, we all have a fun time with our Uline stories. So yeah. So if we need anything from Uline, Chris has it. But back to the original story, that's just how fast Chris is doing it. I'm more the analytics person. If we need to tear down a wall, I'm thinking, okay, what's the best way to do this? While Chris is already grabbing he's got his hammer and a sledgehammer. He's already going to work, and I'm sitting here. Is this the best way? Should we go around? Should we do that? He's already. So that works out well for us.
Y'all make a good team.
Yeah, it's fun, and we all come from an athletic background. All of us played basketball through college, and so we talk the same. They get it. I talk as a coach would talk to players, and it doesn't hurt their feelings. So
and that's contributed a lot to that team mentality between you two. I mean, that just kind of came natural for all of you.
Yep, absolutely.
Understand your position, work. Understand what your assignment is for the team.
Yep. We would always look for the guys that would take charges, and on the basketball court, we want that guy. There's that guy that dove on the floor, took charges, did all the things. It wasn't the best in the box score. He may not have been the leading scorer, but he just hard-nosed, went out there, took charges, played defense, loved playing defense. That's the type of people we're looking for.
I love it. I love the analogy.
And when we're interviewing people, we always ask about their background. Did you play sports? Were you in the band? We just had a recent hire who was the yearbook editor in high school. That means a lot to me. Yeah. I mean, I know what that means. They know deadlines, they know budgets, they can hold people accountable. So all of that really plays a big role in when we hire people. What's your background? And it's always a red flag to me when, oh, I played, but I quit because the coach didn't like me, or when they blame it on the coach and they blame it on other people. That's always a red flag. So
a lot of skills there though, because our kids were all in marching band, so we didn't have kids that played basketball, but a lot of the same.
The dedication,
the hard work, the standing outside in the sun, and when you're thirsty and you're tired and you're exhausted and you didn't sleep the night before, and you show up on time and you
that's
fill
who we
a role
like
in a bigger organization. I mean,
my wife was big she was big in the marching band. And so it's the same concept. What did you do that showed you understood what sacrifice was, and that you understood what it meant to be on time, and that if you weren't there, it affected other people. Same exact things. You can apply it to the marching band, to athletics, to journalism, or the yearbook. It's all hand in hand. So yeah,
it sure is. That's a great point for us to end on. I promised I wouldn't take all of your afternoon as much as I'd love to, but really appreciate again your generosity.
It was a pleasure.
Over the years, but being on the show too.
You do a phenomenal job at this. So very good. Excellent.
I could say the same, sir. So I'm sure I will see you soon. Hopefully at Sleep Summit. I'm gonna stay after you to come to Sleep Summit.
Okay. Well, the pleasure was mine. The pleasure was mine.
All right. Take care, Mark.
Thank you. See you, Charles.